good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. As you can probably tell by the title, this is a video about my fertility journey. I'm currently 29 years old. My birthday is coming up in a couple months, so big 30's coming. I'm not a mom. I don't have any kids. I have been married for 3 years, but with my husband for 11 years. I don't want to babble too much in this video because I know a lot of people like to just get straight to the point. I do want to give, a little bit of detail so you know what's going on in my life and can understand a little bit better about what I've been going through. So basically, we've been trying for 14 months. 14 months, yeah. My initial thoughts about getting pregnant, I didn't have a clue. I always thought that as soon as me and my husband were ready to get pregnant, we would. I thought that it was as simple as that. I thought we would do the deed and a couple weeks later, pregnant. I didn't understand why when I watched people's videos they would be so excited and so amazed when they got a positive pregnancy test. I'm like, did you know how that happens? But now I understand. I understand all too well. TTC is a journey. For some women, they do get pregnant right off the bat. Everybody's story is different, but for some women, it's not that easy. So, speaking about cycles, I really had no idea how a woman's cycle actually works. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different cycle. Some people have PCOS. There's a lot of different things that women can have going on with them that can cause their cycles to be irregular. However, my cycle is very regular to a T. To a T. I have very normal cycles. I always have. And honestly, I thought that because of that, I would have absolutely no problems getting pregnant. I thought that, first go around, we'd be good. Obviously, 14 months later, that's not how it happened. And at first that was a big blow to me. That was a big hit. I really didn't understand why this was happening to me. People around me had gotten pregnant easily, family members, and I just couldn't understand why I couldn't get pregnant. So I immediately thought something must be wrong with me. So I'm probably like 4 or 5 months into this journey, and I'm doing things like taking the modern fertility at-home test. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but basically it's an at-home kit where you send in a blood sample and they will tell you your hormone levels and all of that. Mine was totally normal. Everything was completely normal. So it just threw me for a loop. So I was like, well, let's test my husband's sperm. Let's see. So we did an at-home sperm test on him. Everything was normal. He was fine. So that threw me for a loop again. However, I was really happy because it can be a huge struggle if your partner doesn't have sperm or has sperm issues. So that was a relief for me. I decided to go full throttle and buy a Mira. Don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's a very, very expensive fertility tracking monitor. So a lot of you have probably heard of the LH test strips where you pee on a stick and it always has a line, but when the line is darkest, you're at your peak and you're most fertile and you can start trying. Well, the mirror actually gives you a reading on your hormone levels depending on which wand you buy, and it's kind of pricey. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of pricey. And so I started tracking with that. Had a little bit of issue with the mirror breaking after 1 month of trying it, and had to wait 2 or 3 months for them to send me a new one. That was annoying, but then eventually I did get it. I did start tracking with it. Everything seemed to be normal with my hormones and all from that aspect. Still was not getting pregnant, was getting nothing but negatives, could not understand why. And I mean, we tried doing the baby dance every day. We tried doing the baby dance every other day. We tried the egg meets sperm method. I mean, we tried so many different things. So many different things. And getting a negative pregnancy test every month, that hurts. A lot of people, like, they don't realize, but that really, really hurts. It is like, I mean, it's probably one of the worst things I've ever gone through. I'm not gonna say it is. I don't know. It really could be like the worst thing I've ever gone through. It is such a heartbreaking thing to deal with every month. Wanting to have a family of your own, not being able to, feeling so lonely, and kind of like, you kind of feel like, where do you belong in society, you know? I know not everybody wants to have kids, but for people who do want to have kids and their dream is to have a family, that's a hard blow. It's kind of like having all of your dreams just die before your eyes. I know that's kind of dramatic, but honestly, a lot of people don't understand that. I have a lot of family members who, I'm not gonna say a lot of family members, but I have family members who don't understand why I'm so sad. They just don't understand, and as much as I try to be happy and positive for other people, I still have moments where I just cannot, or I just need space, or I just need to be able to complain or cry or vent about it. And I have some people in my life who don't understand that, and I think that's a really hard thing when it comes to fertility. Is not a lot of people, there are a lot of people who have gone through it, but there are also a lot of people who have not. And the people who have not gone through it, they really don't understand the type of pain that comes with something like that. And it's not something I wish on anybody at all. Yeah. So, you know, learning to navigate through the depression and the sadness and the anxiety of not being able to get pregnant. A year hit, the 1 year, you know, the dreaded 1 year mark, where they consider you to have fertility issues if you're unable to get pregnant within a year if you're under 35. So, like I said, we're actually at 15 months now. Last month was 14 months. So, however, I did have something very interestingly sad, but also somewhat hopeful. Trigger warning. Last month I got my first positive test. I couldn't believe it at first. I took a test. I've had lots of evap lines and things like that before, so, and I can tell the difference now between an evap line and a positive, whereas at first, when you first get an evap line, you're like, oh my gosh, this is it, finally. No, I can very much see a difference, especially this time. This time, I mean, I have never had a line that I didn't have to squint and try to look at, you know. I could see this line. I could see it clearly. I'll try and insert some pictures if I can figure that out I took multiple tests. The very first day, I was very much in denial. I went to the gym. I took the test, so I was like, nah. And I was on my way to the gym, so I was like, I'll get some more tests after the gym. They'll be negative, whatever. But just to be sure. So, go to the gym, leave the gym, go to Walgreens, and I got a few tests, and they were all positive. Every single one of them was positive, and I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. So there's a box of cards that I bought, and they're all dad jokes, and I got them like the second month me and my husband were trying, because I wanted to use them to like surprise him whenever I got a positive pregnancy test, and I finally got to use the dad jokes. So I set up the dad jokes around the positive pregnancy test in his little home office that he has. And sometimes he works from home, sometimes he works in the office, and he came home for lunch that day because I called him and I was like, you need to come home for lunch, you need to come home. And he's like, okay. So he came home, and I surprised him with that, and he was very happy. It was really sweet. It was a really great moment for me. And we told our closest friends. I definitely did not post it on Facebook or anything like that, because I knew that, things happen. And unfortunately, things did happen. I wasn't pregnant for very long at all. A few days later, I woke up that morning to go to work. Went in to the salon, went to the bathroom, wiped, noticed that there was just a little bit of blood on my tissue, and I was a little nervous, so I was like, it's barely, it's barely even there. So maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. Messaged a couple of my friends, and just started monitoring it, and then throughout the day it started getting heavier and heavier. And this was on a Saturday, so my husband was at home, and got off from work. I get off pretty early on Saturdays, or at least I try to. And I messaged him before I got home, and I was like, I'm bleeding, I'm monitoring it. If it gets worse, I gotta go to the ER. So I get home, it gets worse. I'm like, alright, when you get done eating lunch, let's go to the ER. So as I'm there at the ER, that's when I really start bleeding. Really start bleeding. We're waiting to be called back. My husband actually had connections with the person in charge of the ER. I'm not really the director or something, I don't know. My husband has a lot of clients. He fixes computers, so he does cybersecurity and things like that. He messaged her, and she was able to move us up on the list. So we got back there after waiting about an hour. We waited a little while before we went back there, and they took my blood work, did all that. They were gonna do an ultrasound. I was actually kind of excited. I was still a little bit hopeful. I was like, well, maybe this is just some normal bleeding. Like, it was a lot. I was kind of like in denial a little bit, and then they brought me back. After waiting, they brought me back. The doctor said that they had my blood results in, and that my HCG was already at a 0. So I really wasn't pregnant for very long. I never even got to go in for my first appointment. We didn't even do a ultrasound, which I was really hoping I could at least see the little bean in there, but no, we did not get to see the bean. Did not happen. But I will say, the 2 months leading up to the positive pregnancy test, I had given up completely. I had lost my faith. Well, I mean, not lost my faith. I always have faith in God. Not like that. But I kind of just like, you know, clearly this is not the time that I'm supposed to get pregnant. And this is not something that I can force to happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And it's not going to be because I obsessed over it or because I under obsessed. It's just going to be because it was God's perfect timing. And I just kind of let go. I asked a lot of my friends to pray for me. One of my friends really touched my heart that month. She said that she called her husband at work and asked him to please pray for me and my husband. And he, in the middle of work, dropped everything he was doing and just started praying out loud in front of everyone. And that just really touched my heart, and it was really special to me. And that was the same month that I did get pregnant. So even though we didn't keep the baby, however, I do believe in God's perfect timing, and I'm dealing a lot better with the stress and the grief now that I know that it's possible for me to get pregnant, because for a while there I was like, I'll never get pregnant, you know, like it's impossible. Even though all my testing was normal, I never did do the HSG test, which is where they check to see if you have any blockages in your tube. So in my brain I was like, oh my goodness, I probably have some sort of blockage. Why else, you know, would the sperm and the egg not meet? But now I guess I don't, because I did get that positive pregnancy test. So I don't know how long this journey is going to take, but if you want to hear more about it, if you want to have some vlogs where I talk about the struggles and my day-to-day life, I'm more than willing to. I know these types of videos help me so much, which is why I wanted to get on here and make a video myself, because there's certain things that like happen to me that I just do not find in any videos, and I'm like, well, I can't be the only one, you know? So maybe I can help somebody else. I don't know. Thanks for listening. This technically isn't my first video because I did make a few videos at the very beginning, and I chickened out a little bit and deleted those. But I'm gonna try and really do this thing with the vlogs, and just thank you all for watching. If you're interested in hearing more about my journey and my life, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. I plan on doing a fitness journey because I have gained a little bit of weight during this process. I also plan on maybe doing some recipes, maybe doing a few clean with me's. I do have a couple shorts where I like clean, you know, do the whole snap my finger and everything's clean and decorated. But I'm really excited, and thank you so much for watching.